Hello, Stampers! Welcome to your monthly online card club. I'm Kelly Entz from Stamping with Kelly, and I'm based here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. And I know there are those of you who are watching from all over the world, so please comment along, whether you're watching live, whether you're watching on the replay. I want to see who's watching, and I want to know where you're from because what I know about our community is that it's way bigger than we could ever imagine. There are people across the world who actually share the exact same passions and creativity and inspirations as us. And I know this because I just got back from the Stampin' Up! Incentive trip where I was one of, oh, I hope I get these numbers right. I think it was about 375 demonstrators, I think, globally who earned the trip, and one of only 36 demonstrators from Canada who earned the trip. So obviously, I am so grateful to be a part of this very elite group. I know I have to, I always have to do the disclaimer, Stampin' Up! Says this. I'm part of the 0.5% of the top demonstrators in the world. So that's pretty incredible to be a part of that. And I sure felt pampered over this last 5 days. I'm still a little jet lagged, so have to kind of freshen myself up here because we just got back yesterday at midnight, and there's a 2-hour time change, which doesn't seem like much, but when you have kids, you know. Well, time changes are a little tricky, and we got in at, our plane arrived at 12:30 in the morning, and so it felt like by the time we got home it felt like 4 o'clock, and the kids had only slept 1 hour up until that point. And so yes, it was a little bit tricky, but you know what, the kids have had a couple of days off school, and that's been wonderful. Oh, hi Priscilla, it's so good to see you watching from rainy Edmonton. Yes, I am grateful for the rain. I always look up to my window because I like to see outside, and I love the rain right now, especially because in Florida it was about 37 degrees every day. And that's a lot when you're walking around and hauling stuff and pushing a stroller and trying to keep kids cool. And so, yes, I am grateful to be home, to be at about, 11 to 15 degrees Celsius and rejuvenating from that experience of having to drink so much water and having to get the cooling towels and spraying and misting. But man, oh man, did we have fun. And it didn't stop us from experiencing everything. The kids were incredible. They pulled long days and they were up for the challenges, riding all kinds of rides that they didn't know anything about, and experiencing all kinds of new and different things. So proud of them. So proud of them to see them growing and standing up for themselves and having opinions and visiting with everyone. So we did extend the trip a little bit. So Stampin' Up! Gave us 5 days in the most amazing hotel in Florida. I swear it is. It's, I think, Five Diamond. I don't know if that's a thing. I know it's the thing for the restaurant, but this hotel is fancy, and you better believe I'm going to be posting about it over the next couple of days. We also extended our trip before then, and we had my mom and her boyfriend join us for the entire adventure. So it was fabulous to have them experiencing it along with our kids. Our kids have been to Disneyland before, but not Disney World, and so it's a whole different beast. Disney owns an area the size of San Francisco, or twice the equivalent of Manhattan Island down there in Florida. So it's just massive in comparison to Disneyland, which is very quaint and beautiful and walkable. And so, yeah, it was so much fun. But yes, I wouldn't have wanted to do it with younger kids. So my kids are 5 and 8 years old. I felt like it was just kind of the perfect age for them. We still were hauling around a stroller, and we sure needed it. But they were up for the challenge. There were no naps. There was no stopping. We were just going. And I know you guys know this about me probably, that I'm just a huge Disney nerd. So I was in my element, and I have been planning this trip for, a year or more. And oh, my heart is just so full. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of my business for this last year and a half when I actually earned the trip. And for those of you who have been a part of my journey for all of these years, on the 22nd, May 22nd, so this week, I think it's Thursday, I'm celebrating 18 years as a demonstrator. So it's pretty incredible part of my life. And I'm just honored to be on this journey with all of you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. So, anyways, oh, I'm going to tear up. Thank you, Betty. I feel so good to be back. You know, that's the wonderful thing about vacations, right? It's good to go away, and then it's so amazing to come home to your home where everything is just calm and set up and waiting for you. And I tell you what, we haven't had any arguments about socks for the last 2 days. So that's been pretty exciting. Okay, any of those parents of 5-year-olds know what I'm talking about. Like, what is it about socks? Like, why is this so difficult? I don't know. Since the last time that we met, I think, or right around the last time that we met, we have had a new rewards program come into effect. So this is honestly so exciting for you because what it means is it's going to be easier for you to track your rewards. You're going to earn on every order over $25, and it's going to be automatically applied to your account. Now, Stampin' Up! Hit this off with a bang because at the beginning of May, we actually had a special promotion for double the rewards points. So that meant instead of the 10%, which you normally receive on an order, that's a credit towards a future order, you actually were receiving 20% towards a future order, which is just amazing. So now that we are kind of figuring out this new program together, let's make sure that we're taking advantage of it. So I'm going to try to communicate with you in the most timely manner, but as you know, Stampin' Up! Sometimes doesn't let us know too far in advance. We'll usually get 2 to 3 days. So that's why it's so important to be on my email newsletter list. So if you aren't already, just reach out to me. You can do it by Facebook, Instagram, you can do it on YouTube. Just don't put your email out there for everyone to see. Send me a private message and I would be happy to add you to my email newsletter list. So I only send out a couple of emails a month, but I try to do it around timely events. So when there's a special promotion going on, where there's something launching, or when you're on my newsletter list, you're also going to get supply lists and links to the online monthly card club. And that means that you have the supply list and even sometimes the measurements, pictures of the cards for the future so that you can reference back, and also links to the YouTube. So it makes it really easy to check back and review the instructions over and over again. So make sure that you're signing up for my newsletter list. So the Stampin' Rewards program are now tracked by Stampin' Up! Again, the minimum threshold for earning is $25 Canadian. And that earns you 10% towards a future purchase. Now, you can choose to do this a few different ways. We were earning in the past 10% or even sometimes a little bit higher depending on what you spent. And that we had to redeem all at once for something usually bigger, right? This is now customizable for you. So you can choose to take a little off the top of every order that you place and help to alleviate some of the shipping costs, or just buy yourself a free adhesive once in a while. Or you can actually use this to save up and get yourself something big. So if you have your eye on the most amazing product, which is the Big Boss, you can save up your rewards and redeem for that. I love that this is customizable, and I'm finding that I'm using my rewards differently as well. So as a demonstrator, I get all the rewards that a customer does, as well as the demonstrator rewards. So I'm also earning these rewards just like you, and I'm loving the fact that it's tracking there in the account and I can redeem them strategically. So for example, how would I redeem them strategically? So during celebration or other times of the year where there's a minimum threshold to receive a certain freebie or special product or maybe like free shipping or something like that, I would make sure that I'm not redeeming my bonus rewards during that time. So my Stampin' Rewards would stay in my account and not be redeemed at that point. However, maybe I am focused on like getting the special rewards. So for example, the rewards that I offer you as my being a demonstrator for you would be with a minimum $35 order, you can actually receive your card club projects for free. And then with a minimum $100 order, you will actually receive a free gift from me. And so it's usually $120 during celebration times. For other months, it's $100. And that's kind of to add up with the Stampin' Up! Celebration rewards that they offer. So for this month, during May, I'm actually running a promotion where I'm giving you 2 free full packs of unused paper. These are retired packages that were from Celebration, and you can actually choose 2 of these 5 different designs. I love this promotion because it means that I get to gift you with a whole bunch of creativity, because I just know that when you are using designer series paper, it is the start of a whole bunch of creativity. You already get a pattern, you already get colors to work with, and you get a design. You get kind of a feeling already on your card. So I love starting my designs with designer series paper. So with a minimum $100 order this month, you can actually receive this. So when you're redeeming your Stampin' Rewards, you just want to make sure that after you've redeemed whatever rewards that you're wanting to deduct from your order, that merchandise total before shipping and handling and tax equals at least the $35 to get your card club for free, or if you're wanting to get this $100 special, just making sure that that's not under $100, because otherwise you wouldn't qualify for that. So the merchandise total after redemptions is the number that you're going to be wanting to look at. So Stampin' Rewards do not expire normally until a year after they are earned. So just like Starbucks, just like everywhere else, it's always going to use up the oldest rewards first. And I imagine that if you have rewards that are going to be expiring, that Stampin' Up! Will probably send an automated email. I can't see your accounts and your rewards that you have, so unfortunately I can't remind you of that. So just remember to keep on top of that. And if it's been a year, I mean, it's only started right now, and so you have a year from basically last month. So there's no rush right now, but you just want to make sure you're keeping that in the back of your mind. Now, there is something that we need to keep in mind, and that's the way that we've been placing group orders in the past. So Stampin' Up! Now says that any order leaving their facility is going to have that minimum shipping charge, which is $10.95. So that doesn't even out until you get to about $100 in your order, and that's kind of why I have the $100 order special, is to remind you to get to that amount to maximize your shipping costs so that you're not paying that extra premium. At $100 and more, you're paying 11% shipping, and so it evens out, and then you are not paying that extra premium on the shipping for orders under $100. If you are in Edmonton and you want to place an order with my group order, picking it up from my house in South Edmonton, and saving a little bit on shipping for orders under $100, we can definitely do that, just like we've done in the past. The only difference is now I'm placing it as an order under like a group order, which is a little bit different than we've done before, and I can only do that being paid by email money transfer. So if you send me an e-transfer of the total that I give you, then I can submit the order that way. I just can't charge it to credit cards anymore, okay? You will still earn your rewards, and that will be distributed by me, calculated on the total, just like how we've done it in the past. But this is going to come deposited to your account. So you have to register for my rewards, which you would have to do if you're placing your orders anyways. Very simple one-time procedure. If you're having any problems, you just let me know, okay? These rewards that I give to you are a little bit different though, and they do have a 6-month expiry. So just know that you'll probably want to use any rewards like that a little bit quicker just because of the nature of the gifted rewards. Okay, so just the nature of the system. I hope that makes sense. I think it really makes sense to me, and to be honest, it's a lot easier for me now to track them too. And so I just know that this new system is going to be great for even more people to earn rewards than before. Because before you had to spend at least $200 to get 10%. Now you only have to spend $25, and you can use your rewards whenever you want, instead of before where you had to use them right at the time of checkout. So sometimes I know that I would get into the mentality of adding things to my order to top it up to $200, and I would think, oh my goodness, then what else am I going to add, right? I'm trying to get this like maximizing of a deal, like how many more adhesives can I have in my stash? So I don't know if you were feeling that in the past, but I just know that in the future, it's just going to be even more flexible to the needs of your life and fitting around what you actually want from Stampin' Up. And maybe you don't need a whole bunch of adhesives right now. Maybe you want to save the rewards for the new holiday catalog or something like that, and a big order that you plan on placing when that goes live later this year. So anyways, I hope that you're thinking of this as the opportunity that it truly is for all of us. And if you have questions, I know change is hard, and I'm happy to help you through this transition. Okay. Whew, Stampin' rewards, right? Who would have thought it would be like so much to talk about? But do you know what? Next month, I think we're all going to be into the swing of things, and it's going to be really great. This coming weekend, I am so excited to share with you Café Crafting. So if you haven't been to this, it is such an amazing experience. And I can't even tell you how relaxing, fulfilling, rejuvenating, soul healing. Like, it's really incredible to come to. So if you're the type of person who likes the experience of crafting, but wants to have even more of an experience, right? Like, you want to have it kind of curated for you. Come to my Café Crafting events. They're so much fun. We hold them at Brew and Bloom in South Edmonton. They serve amazing coffees, hence the Brew, and Bloom. The whole restaurant is just covered with flowers, and they are so amazing to us. Every cocktail, meal, snack, coffee, everything comes out completely Instagram worthy, and you're going to feel so pampered. And then I bring all the projects for you. If you like a specific adhesive, you can bring that, but honestly, otherwise I supply everything for you. You just show up, invite your friends, get them all together, coming out with you. We're going to have a nice group on this Saturday. We're crafting from 10 till noon, and I'm featuring 2 different card kits. If you want something different than this, you can definitely reach out to me, and I'd be happy to bring something different for you. But the ones that I'm featuring are actually a little bit, let me see here, here we go, a little bit different. So whereas if you want to do something different, you'll have to get the kit in a box, which includes the stamps and the ink pad as well. And that's going to be a minimum kind of $35 price point. Whereas these kits that I'm offering here, the refills, are what I'm providing. And I'm doing 2 different kits. So we've got Beyond the Horizon, which is a paper pumpkin from the past. And how I run these classes is you just show up and you use my stamps and my ink. You use this refill kit to craft these cards and put them together exactly as per the kit, or you can modify them, whatever you choose to do. And then you go home with 9 cards from the kit, and you don't have any of the extra supplies. So this Delicate Wings is another kit that I'm doing. So you can see the full kit is $35, but with this class, you're actually not needing to pay that at all, because it's just going to be $25 to make the 9 cards using my stamps and my ink. If you did want the full kit, just let me know as soon as possible because I only have 2 of them left. I might have some of the Beyond the Horizon full kits left. I can't remember. I'll have to look at my stash, but this one is not registering nicely on my camera because it's got these beautiful metallic foils which are not showing up in the pictures, but you can choose from either of these 2 kits, or you can make both of them. Again, it's just $25 to make these projects and head home. If you wanted to have the stamps included, then it's a little bit more money, like I said. So if you're interested in this, again, we're crafting this Saturday from 10 until noon at the South Brew and Bloom, but you need to register in advance. So if you're interested, just comment along and I can send you the link, and we can get you registered for the class so that I bring the supplies for you, because that's kind of important. I also need to make sure that I have a seat for you. So I have a reservation for 8, and I think we only have 2 spots left. If it's going to be larger than that, then I, of course, need to contact the restaurant. So please come, invite your friends, or make a new friend. I'll be there too. I'm your friend, right? So we also have a couple of new kits coming out. So I don't think I might have 1 or 2 of these in stock if you did want to make them at the Café Crafting. You'll have to take a look online at them. But if you take a look at the kits collection online, you can browse through the kits there, and I have most of those in stock. You can even make not just cards, but mini albums. You can make paper bouquets, all kinds of fun things. You just need to let me know in advance, okay? So I can make sure to have those at the Café Crafting. We also have a really amazing starter kit special. I love a special like this because it really maximizes your value. And Stampin' Up! Does this a couple of times a year, but this is kind of the best deal that you're going to get. If you've got a list a mile long for the new catalog, this is a great way of doing it. The starter kit special includes $220 of whatever products that you choose from the catalog or from the online store, the online exclusives, the kits collection. It excludes prepaid Paper Pumpkin subscriptions, but that kind of makes sense, right? You can choose out $220 of whatever you want, and you start getting a discount right away. So you only pay $135 Canadian, and that's saving you 11% shipping, and also you're not paying any GST or taxes on that. So the value of that $220 is actually closer to probably $300, considering the tax and the shipping that you would be saving. So if this is of interest to you, please reach out. Like I said, I've been a demonstrator for 18 years. I love it. And I've had so many demonstrators join my team, and some of them for a really long time, many, many years, and some of them in different seasons of their lives. So when you decide to become a demonstrator, holy cow, who is ever above me playing hockey is just being too loud. I'm sorry, somebody's clunking on the floor above me. But I honestly cannot tell you enough wonderful things about being a demonstrator. So I would, of course, want to share that opportunity with you as well and have you make whatever you want from it. So that's my goal as a leader, as a top demonstrator and the top leader in Canada. That's my goal, is to make it whatever you want. So if it means helping you to start running classes online, in person, meeting with friends, running events, corporate events, things like that, I can definitely help you with that. And if it means just you being a really smart shopper and ordering through yourself and saving at least 20% on everything that you order, then that is okay too. So reach out to me. If you want the starter kit, it's the best deal ever. And it also opens you up to a whole new community of people who are like-minded and who also love crafting and creativity and sharing together. So please, honestly, reach out to me. It's a wonderful thing. We have a new Paper Pumpkin that just came out. Paper Pumpkin is our monthly subscription service, which is a surprise to everyone, including demonstrators. So this Mountain Majesties was the sneak peek that we got, and I just received my kit in the mail yesterday. I don't know when it actually shipped, but I got home yesterday, so that's when I received it. The ink spot that I got in this kit was Misty Moonlight, and I got a photopolymer stamp set, but I'll show you the print off, which kind of more clearly shows the stamps involved. This is a really gender neutral and kind of simplistic in like the most restrained, beautiful way. I really like the colors that they used in this kit. I find them really soothing, and you've got these kind of hills which change in color the farther they go back. The real wow factor for me for this kit is actually the stamp set. So the stamp set includes a whole bunch of different sayings which are great for this time of the year, which is around Father's Day. So we've got Happy Father's Day, you're the greatest, best dad ever, I love you, happy birthday, you mean the world to me, for a wonderful man. And then you've got these beautiful birds kind of flying into the distance, which are used on some of the cards. So let's talk about the card bases first, and then we'll go up from there. So the card bases come pre-printed on the front and back. So savvy crafters like myself who like to double the projects in these kits, we will tend to cut these in half and actually get 2 card fronts out of the 1 card base. And you can just put them on top of like a basic white cardstock base, and you got a lot to work with then, because each of these cards have 3 of each of the 3 designs. The third design here is a little bit more involved with all the trees that they have there. And I really like for this one that the layers that you're putting over top actually have the colors, the same colors as whatever you're putting them over top of. So if that makes sense, this tree doesn't have a white outline. It actually has an outline with the colors matching the layer that it's going over top of. We've also got a pre-printed saying here, thank you for being the person you are. So nice, simple, clean, and like I said, gender neutral, but typically around May we start seeing kind of more masculine style of cards. We've got pre-printed cardstock here, as well as a whole bunch of pre-printed layers of vellum. So these are, vellum goes back to my days in architecture, and you can see it's actually kind of translucent. You can kind of see through it, and you've got all kinds of layers to put onto your cards. You've also got the laser cut tags, a huge sheet of dimensionals, and pre-printed envelopes in 3 different colors here. So this kit is available for purchase from me because I always order extra kits. But like I said, it's a subscription service from Stampin' Up. So if you wanted to sign up for this, the next kit is looking to be so pretty as well. This is our sneak peek. So if you sign up for the kit right now until the 10th of June, you will actually receive this kit shipped to you directly in mid-June. You can choose to purchase this as a one-time kit or as a subscription, or you can even choose to do a 3, 6, or 12-month subscription prepaid. And so you can keep receiving these kits monthly and keep crafting with them. It's like a demonstrator in a box. It's like gives you all the instructions, all the supplies, the stamps, the ink, everything to create the projects. And I love crafting on the go with these. Stampin' Up! Also has released a 3-month, like quarterly die pack that coordinates with the matching paper pumpkins. So May, June, and April are included in this one, and you can purchase this. I think it's around $16.50 if I'm not incorrect. And then last but not least, I want to make sure that everyone who is interested in this can take advantage of it. This is the last call for the Pause and Paper Craft Along and Create with Heart. This is actually a class that I recorded with 5 other top demonstrators in the United States. And we're doing this for a really great cause. So a service animal, a service dog, who's now retired, is a dear friend of mine's dog, and she recently had some really, really tough medical bills to come up against, and we weren't sure if we were going to lose poor London or not. And she's made a miraculous comeback. She's doing really, really well, and we're so glad to gift this class, the proceeds from this class, to London's medical bills to help to cover that and to raise the spirits of her owners who are our dear friends. So if you're interested, this is an online class. It gives you an hour and a half online class with all the measurements and instructions and everything that you need on project sheets, and it's only $15. So for $15 Canadian, you can receive this online class. If you wanted to add on the kit as well, I do have some of them in stock, or I can ship them directly to you. You don't need to have the kit to be inspired by this class. These templates can be used on all different kinds of projects. So even if you just wanted to help out this great cause and get a great class with a whole bunch of ideas, just reach out to me. Again, only $15, so it's a really good deal. Okay, are we ready? I know that many of you have a stack of projects that look something like this. We're going to start at the very top, and I've got 2 bonus cards here to show you. How do you receive the bonus card? Well, I'm so glad that you asked. You can pick up your projects from me in South Edmonton, and I will actually include a bonus project. Instead of having to pay postage, I want to spend the budget on more projects for you. So if you live outside of Edmonton, no problem. You can get your cards mailed for free anywhere in Canada. They just won't include the bonus. If you want to have the bonus, then that can definitely be sent to you. It's just a little bit of an extra cost to cover the postage. So let me know if you are interested in receiving the bonus card. This bonus card is actually a card, well, 2 cards that are from this Delicate Wings kit that I'm featuring at this month's Café Crafting event. So if you like this and you want to make more of them, please sign up for the May 24th event. I'm going to have these there with the stamps and ink from my collection, and you can make this full kit of cards for just $25 instead of the full kit price of $35. So this kit I've modified a little bit because I wanted to use up these butterflies that we cut out for a project. Oh my gosh, I was supposed to look this up. I think it was 2 months ago. I think it was 2 months ago. It might have been last month, though. I don't know. The time is just flying. So with this card, we're going to keep the same sort of layout as, sorry, I have to adjust this light. There we go. This card here, hello camera, there we go. So this card here, we're going to modify the design, and this one here as well. So let me show you what that looks like with the addition of that beautiful butterfly. So this one normally comes with a 3rd butterfly that's pre-printed with the metallics. I just didn't include that one, and I put in the larger one instead. So very, very simply, you're going to just put together these layers, and I'll show you. I took it up a notch with some heat embossing. For the saying here, I did that with a gold heat embossing. You're going to see this piece here. You can put that on with your Stampin' Seal. That just goes on the bottom here, quick and easy. And then dimensionals on the back side of these butterflies. Where are my dimensionals? I cleaned up too nicely from my class yesterday, I guess. Sometimes you just need things out and ready to go, right? So with these ones, I kind of scattered them quite low and quite high. And then this one here just went right over the top. To take it up a notch, I took this embossed flower, and can you see that I added some splatters? I kind of wanted to keep going with the splatter theme that's already on these card bases. And I learned a really awesome tip that if you're using something like, say, a Stampin' Blends marker, and you don't want to wreck the tip of it by flicking it the way that we do often with our Wink of Stella and things like that. If you wanted to get this look, you can actually just, I'm going to just pick up a little bit of this extra ink because I'm running a little bit low. You can actually just tap it like this, and that will give the splatter without wrecking the tip of it. With Wink of Stella, we don't have to worry about that as much because the tip is made of brush bristles and not like a foamy kind of felt tip. And then you get that beautiful, oh boy, my camera lighting, there we go. Let's turn that up a little bit here. Give it a second, there we go. You can see it's added that little bit of color on there. Dimensionals on the back of that, and then you can put this card together with whatever saying that you want embossed on there. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail for this next card. So if you are working with the butterfly, you might just want to wait for a second to see what I do on this next butterfly because it's a little bit different. So this little tag was meant to kind of go up at the top with the original design, and I just put it in the center of the butterfly here for this design. Okay, let's fast forward to this card layout because you might have one or the other. You got lots of little butterflies in there, so make sure you get that out. Do you remember last time that we did these butterflies? This is the image that was cut out, but we actually had the sheet that was left over and had smaller butterflies. We used a sponge dauber, and we used the Wink of Stella pooled onto a, you could use a palette of whatever you wanted. I used the silicone sheet, and boy oh boy, I'm running out of this Wink of Stella. So I'm going to do a dog of this other Wink of Stella because I always have at least one ready to roll because Wink of Stella is maybe the most beautiful thing ever. It says push on the side here. If you're painting with it, you don't normally need to push. I'm just making a little pool so that I can use my sponge dauber to put it on instead. Now, why would a person want to do that? Well, when you're putting any liquid onto paper that's been embossed and has a raised texture, if you're painting it on really, really heavily, what I find is that it starts to lessen the embossing effect and it starts to warp the paper back to being flat and smooth. So you maybe lose a little bit of the texture that's already there. So in the past I showed you how you could just use the silicone mat as a template. You can also use your silicone mat that comes with the glass mat, or you could even make a little pool in the glass mat as well. But this is a great way to do it. Now I wanted to show you a way that you can take it up a notch and turn your Wink of Stella into whatever color that you want. I've got Fresh Freesia re-inker here, which is matching the purple color of that beautiful paper there. And I'm just going to mix this up. So I already did a little daub of the Wink of Stella, but you know what? I'm going to put a little bit more on there because that re-inker, even just a drop of it, is quite strong, right? I can fold this over, kind of mix it up a little bit, and then use my re-inker to mix it up even more. When I use, sorry, not re-inker, my sponge dauber, then you can go over top, and this just perfectly kind of picks up on all of the raised pieces of this gorgeous butterfly. You'll get a little bit of ink transfer into some of the areas that are not raised, but in my opinion, this is pretty effective and pretty stunning. So I'm just going to pick up a little bit more here. I love this look. It ends up, when you're finished, looking something like this when you put it all together. And again, I did that Time to Celebrate in some gold embossing to kind of match the gold and kind of platinum looking embossing that is already pre-printed on these card bases and on some of the butterflies that are included in this kit. This kit has really neutral, calming colors. Oh, sorry, I'm doing it off camera. This has really neutral, calming colors, and I really love the look of this kit. It's versatile, it's fun, it's classy and elegant, and you can do so much with it if you wanted to change it around. But to make it just as is also beautiful too. So that's where the Café Crafting comes into play. The Café Crafting is so fun because you show up and everything is provided for you. You just order whatever you want off the menu. There's no minimum amount to spend, so you could even get a Coke, or you can, I always get their cappuccinos because I love them. I'm putting this on just with Stampin' Seal because I'm putting dimensionals all over the place for the other butterflies. Yes, very good. Priscilla says she uses the acrylic blocks that come with the paper pumpkin kits as a palette. Absolutely. Oh, and she's talking about the Café Crafting. She says the cloud mimosas are fire. Yes, I am going to post a picture of some of the items that we enjoyed at our last couple of events because honestly, everything is just so picture worthy. It's beautiful. So I'm going to plan to put this here, and on these butterflies, I'm just going to cut up some dimensionals and use some mini dimensionals too to put them together. Yeah, the cloud mimosas are amazing. I'm a huge fan of their salads, which are just gorgeous and very fresh and fun. Have a nice combination of berries, and they even do beets and things like that too sometimes. If you're looking for brunch items, oh my gosh, like the French toast and the eggs Benedict. There's even like a chicken and waffles that comes with like a whole bunch of cotton candy on the top. It's so fun. If you haven't been, truly, it's an experience. So I hope to see you there this weekend. And again, if those two kits that I showed you are not tickling your fancy, then just send me an email. I can give you a link to all of the different types of kits that I have available for you to craft. You do not have to be limited in any way. So now when it comes to our tags here, I'm going to bring in this kind of matchy stamp set. This is from our last catalog, and it's actually carrying over as an online exclusive. So I'm really excited that we still get to play with this, and that's actually where the big butterfly comes from. It's from the hybrid embossing folder. So let me show you how this worked. So with the hybrid embossing folders, it comes along with the die pack, and you have to use it along with the Big Boss, which is our biggest die cutting machine. So it die cuts, it embosses, it does all kinds of amazing things. But what I love about these hybrid folders is that one of these metal dies actually fits into the embossing folder. You can use the embossing folder on its own. Putting a sheet in here would give you a full sheet of butterflies that are raised up from the paper. When you put the die inside the embossing folder, it will actually die cut and emboss at the same time. So with this, you'll get this beautiful cutout piece that's got all the texture on there, and you'll receive another rectangle that has this hole cut out of it and these butterflies around it embossed into the paper, which we used in the past for a shaker card. I think that was April, if I'm not mistaken. That's only a month ago. Can you believe it? in the die pack, you also have a whole bunch of other options to use these different dies in different ways. But for this card, I'm actually going to be using the stamp set because this one has so many great sayings. I'm going to use Time to Celebrate, which fits nearly perfectly in this kind of pointed tag. The happy birthday fit really nicely into the other shaped tag. And then you also have other sayings here, like, in case you need me, I'm here. So thankful for you. Hello. And of course that beautiful imagery that goes along with the die pack as well. So you can use any color of ink that you'd like here. I'm going to be taking this up a notch with some heat embossing. So again, this is a little bit more of an advanced technique. You can use your heat tool along with some gold embossing powder and really take this up a notch. So our Versamark ink is a super sticky clear ink. This is my favorite technique, and actually the technique that really hooked me as a stamper, I think maybe for life. So this super sticky clear ink looks like nothing when it's on the paper until it settles in, and then it will give a watermark impression. It gives a look of stamping the same color of ink onto any color of paper. So it's the most versatile, hence the name Versamark. It's the most versatile ink out there. So even if, heaven forbid, you have non-Stampin' Up! Colors, it will look like it's matching, coordinating perfectly to those colors. But where this ink really excels is to actually hold on embossing powder. So I've got the gold embossing, which it comes as a part of a 3-pack. And with this, let me see if I can show you here. Takes a minute for it to heat up. It's about 300 degrees, so a lot hotter than a hair dryer. So you do need to have a heat tool to do this technique. But when it starts to melt, it will take those beads of the powder and melt them into the paper, giving this beautiful metallic look. You can also get the Essentials pack, which comes with white and black and another color. What is it? I wonder. I'm curious now. But this one here, oh, probably clear, I would say. White and black and clear. Does that make sense? But now we've got this gorgeous tag, which we'll showcase a little bit better probably on here. So you can see it's got that beautiful metallic, just like the base of the cards here with that metallic shine on it. You know I'm going to put this on with dimensionals. Yes, because I love them. And in this kit, I just love the envelopes too because they have that gorgeous embossing on there as well. So time to celebrate. Love that saying. There we go. So we've got these 2 different cards. Again, they're both coming from the same kit. The third card I did not include because it's really different. It's actually got pre-printed, it doesn't show up very well in the picture, but it says, I'm always there for you, I think. Oh man, what does it say? I can't remember. I have them in the other room. But there's actually no stamping on this card. You just put it together. It's an assembly project. So this card is a little bit different than the other 2. I wanted to showcase those ones and use up these beautiful butterflies that we cut out for another project. All right, so at the end of showcasing every project, I like to show you where you can find these products. And sometimes they're in the catalogs, and more frequently, we've got many from the online exclusives. So I already mentioned this awesome bundle that includes the beautiful butterflies and the coordinating hybrid embossing folder and the dies. You can get these, I think, separate now. If I'm not mistaken, I think the bundle might be gone, but I hope that it might be still available because when you bundle, you can save 10%. Those ones are available as online exclusives now. They haven't got the stamp on there of last chance products, so they're going to keep replenishing them until they get that last chance stamp on them. So if you're looking for products that are leaving us and there's a little bit more urgency to get those, make sure you're checking out the last chance products section of my online store. And you can look there at www.stampingwithkelly.stampinup.net. So stamping with Kelly has a G, and Stampin' Up is no G. When you go under shop now, you can take a look at the last chance products, and those are the products that are not going to be replenished. So when the stock runs out, those items are no longer available from Stampin' Up. And if you find that ever happens and you're missing out on something that you love, please reach out to me, because you never know what I have in my stash, right? I have been stamping for many years, and I have quite a little retired stash as well that I put up for sale. Sometimes I have it posted, and sometimes I don't have them priced and posted yet, but you can always reach out to me no matter what you have in mind, okay? So paper, adhesives, envelopes, don't go to the store and get those. Just reach out to me and I can hook you up. Don't worry. I know a girl. It's me. All right. So also used on this card here, we did we? I don't know what I'm trying to show on this page. Oh, I know what I'm trying to show are sponge daubers. So this is coloring techniques showcased on this card, or on this page here in the catalog, so page 128. There's so many different ways you can color onto your cards. We use these sponge daubers, which come in a pack of 5, and these are really versatile. I like having one color for each of the kind of color families. So one for my blues. I usually do a lot of blues, so I have one for my light blues, one for my dark blues, and then as long as you kind of are cleaning them off in between, kind of like rubbing them onto paper till they go clean, then they're ready to be switching colors, and it's not too much of a problem. But there's a whole bunch of other different ways that you can color as well, add different color and customization to your projects. On page 133, there's some of my other favorite tools. So here we did our Wing Castella. We also used our Versamark, and these are our new Wow embossing powders. So those come in 2 triple packs, so you can choose to get the basics or the metallics. And what else did we use for this card? I think that's it. Of course, that kit, which you can get as a refill, or maybe I think I have 2 left of the full kits if you're interested in those ones that come with the stamp set. And that includes all of the consumable supplies to make these cards, as well as other ones. A total of 9, 3 each of 3 designs. So, are we ready to move on to our next card? This is the card that's included for everyone in their Card Club project kit. And the Card Club project kit, again, is $20, or you can actually receive it for free with a minimum $35 order. So that's my favorite way of you crafting along with me. Why not place a $35 minimum order of whatever that you want, and then I give you the projects and the inspiration to craft around and play with some different products from your collection. So you don't necessarily have to buy the same products that I'm using and showing here. But of course, if you want to make it matchy-matchy, you can. Otherwise, you just need a saying stamp set and adhesives to put these cards together, along with like a neutral ink of your choice, whatever you choose. All right, this next card and the following cards are actually all fabulous, simple, fun folds. So this card here is featuring some new online exclusives. These are the Cheers and Sips bundle, and they come with a stamp set here that's called Cheers and Sips, the dies that correspond with it, and a fabulous designer series paper pack which has these awesome drinks that we can cut out and use on our projects too. So with this design, I wanted to do a fun gatefold card, but then have these really awesome like interlocking kind of panels which explode out and have a lot of interest for the recipient. So these really come together. Yay, I'm so happy that you like the beautiful butterflies, Betty. I know that kit really has a lot of neutrals in it, and so I was happy to add that pop of color that really just took it up a notch. And speaking of pop of color, this is your pop. You might have an orange version, you might have a pink version. Both of them are going to be the same here in terms of putting them together. So let's get started with that. You'll see I'm using my bone folder here. That's just to help to burnish these score lines that I've already put into the paper for you. And that's going to make it fold nice and flat and make sure that your card actually appears closed when it needs to be closed, right? I love this silicone for keeping all of my items in place. And just remember that these clear envelopes that I include for you are not just utilitarian. You can use them over and over again. You can mail in them as well, which protects your cards even more. But I love actually storing my cards in them because it means that the embellishments and some of the like paper pieces like this little olive pick won't get ruined when I'm sorting through the cards and trying to find the perfect card for the perfect person. All right, so on the back side of the Pattern Designer Series paper, I'm going to put on some Stamp and Seal adhesive. And then all three of these pieces are the same size, so we'll just make an equal border around the top and the bottom and the sides. Betty, I wish I could teleport you and have you come to the Café Crafting events. I just know you would love it so much. You'd really have fun. So if you're ever road tripping to Edmonton, we'll have to make sure that we're planning something around your road trip, okay? So for this third panel, I've actually got either an orange piece or a green piece that we're going to stamp our saying on. Now, with this one here, I actually stamped this before I remembered that I wanted my drink to go on the opposite side because I wanted to showcase this exact drink in the Designer Series paper that had it scaled down. So if you're an overthinker of your projects like I am, just make sure you're stamping on the right side to work with your layout. For this one, I don't think it's an issue, so I'm just going to do it similar to this. Having it on the right-hand side will be no problem at all. And again, I'm going to be using Matchy Matchy, the Cheers and Sips stamp set, which includes a whole bunch of imagery, but also this cheers and a whole bunch of little tiny sayings to go along with it. So cheers to you, to us, it's your day, and let's celebrate. And Matchy Matchy ink to go along with this is going to be your Old Olive or your new Timid Tiger, which is a brand new ink color and coordinates with the cardstock base. If you didn't get a chance, you'll want to make sure to look up on YouTube my past video of my launch party. It is an awesome video that gives you an overview of everything that you need to know for this new annual catalog that we have. And it also dives a little bit deeper into these in colors, giving you some really fun comparisons to help you understand where these new colors sit within the existing color families that we have. So Stampin' Up! Has core color families. I'm just going to layer this up here onto the rectangle as well. These color families have, oh my gosh, are they 12 colors now? I've been a demonstrator for too long. It's official. I think they're 10. Are they 10? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay, so they have their color families, which are grouped in 10 that kind of coordinate together. You can order them individually. One of my favorite ways to get started, though, is to get the cardstock assortment pack of whichever colors speak most to your heart. You know I own all of these colors, right? But when you've been around the block for a bit, you expand your collection. When you're first starting off, you start small and you work with what you like, and then you can start buying full packs, excuse me, full packs of whichever colors you run out of the most. So the 20 sheet assorted pack is going to give you 2 sheets each of all of these 10 colors. And then you can go from there. Whichever ones you run out of first, that's your sign, right? You need to get a full pack of those. But if you were to get something like this and some basic white cardstock to go along with it, that would be a great start. Another place that you can start as a new stamper, or anytime there's a new catalog that comes out, is to take a look at our in colors. These are colors that visit us for 2 years at a time, and sometimes they're even revisiting us, like the Strawberry Slush, which was an in color from many years ago and is now returned because it's just the perfect medium pink. So we've got 2 sets of in colors. The set of 2024 to 2026 is around for another year. They've already been with us for 1 year. And the 2025 to 2027 colors are actually with us for the next 2 years. These colors are so fun, and I really love focusing on those when we start a new catalog. So you're going to see these on all of the cards that we have tonight. So in terms of in colors for this card here, we've got the Strawberry Slush if you've got the pink background. If you've got the orange background, that's our brand new Timid Tiger. It's a fabulous orange. Maybe my favorite orange that we've ever had, because it's just nice. It's like not too intense. It's not too crazy. It's really an awesome orange. And then this yellow here that's used on both of the card layouts, this is our Darling Duckling, which for me, I call this a very natural yellow. This kind of strikes in between the light and the dark yellows that we have, and it's less like vibrant, or less like cool, I would say. It's less cool. And so it just means that to me it's a yellow that exists a little bit more in nature. I'm going to start fussy cutting this while I keep talking about colors. What's your favorite new in color? We had so many people cast their votes for my launch party and earn entries. Do you guys know what my favorite in color is? I'll bring this sheet out here. I always do up these bookmarks because I find them so helpful. I use them for myself as well. When I'm designing, when I'm trying to remember the color names, because sometimes they don't come as easily as they used to in my catalog of a brain. But I'm really loving, surprise, surprise, this cloud cover. It's a really neutral kind of gray blue, but it still registers as a blue, which is so nice. And I'm really having fun playing with the coolness of it. You guys probably know, if you've been watching for a while, my favorite Stampin' Up! Color is Pool Party. It was my wedding color all those years ago. What's that? 12 years ago now. And it still remains as my top color to go to. Whenever I need, a little bit of calming onto a card, I put the Pool Party. And yet it also sometimes gives energy to cards. So it just is kind of perfect blue. But cloud cover is actually like if Pool Party married a gray and had a baby. Because that's how colors work, you guys. It's just all about the birds and the bees. I'm going to move this around, I think. There we go. So the thing is, for your next step here, you're just going to want to make sure you are adhering this in a way that it's actually going to fold out. So I adhere the top and the bottom to the right panel, and then I adhere this middle panel to the left. So when I'm doing that, I just flip them over like this so that I can sort through in my brain where I'm putting adhesive and where I'm not. Yes, Priscilla, summer patio vibes for sure for this card. I'm using tear and tape for this because sometimes I just want that extra little bit of sticking power. And just a reminder that I'm not putting adhesive on the side that I don't want, because I don't want to glue my card shut, right? I've done that before, and I don't need to do that tonight. Even the most experienced stampers, they make mistakes like gluing their cards shut. Okay, so now that I've got this done, I've got a little bit overhanging there. I'm going to trim that off with my snips. There we go. Okay, so using your take your pick tool or your fingernails, whatever you want to do, but I sure like using my take your pick tool. we're going to start putting these on. So starting at the top, I'm going to make sure that my borders at the top and the sides are the same. Then moving on to the bottom, I'm going to take off my adhesive backing and do the same thing. Top and the sides are going to have the same border. And then when I go to this middle panel, I'm going to adhere it onto the left panel of the card, the left opening panel, and I'm just going to match it up in the middle so that the openings are the same. And when you do that with these measurements, it's kind of just perfect, because it means that you've got equal spaces around all of these. And the sizes for that are 3.5 inches by 1.25 for the Designer Series paper panels, and then just 1/4 of an inch bigger on either side there. So 1.5 inches by 3.75 for the yellow paper that goes around that. You're just going to score in from both sides of an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock. So when you score in to make this panel the typical 4.25 by 5.5, that means you're doing 4 1/8 inch from both of these sides. And then you've got this fun card that comes together just like this. When you're putting your drink on, let's use some dimensionals to pop that up and add interest. And isn't this an easy, simple fun fold, right? But it really does have a lot of interest. You can see how they just want to explode. And I think that whoever gets this card is really going to be excited about, what on earth is happening here? So I like to put my 2 little gems up here, one down below. And now we've got our finished card. Just pops right open. Ta-da! So the products for this one come from a few different places, mostly from the online exclusives. So we already talked about the Cheers and Sips, which is a bundle from the online exclusives. You can get this as a bundle and save, or get those separately. You can also get this as a suite, which would include this Designer Series paper as well. So you can see we've cut out some of these. I'm saying we because it's my amazing assistant Kathy as well, who helped me out so much this month and also every month to get these projects prepped for you. This is the Designer Series paper that we stamped on. It's a nice neutral kind of design so that you can put even your own imagery or your own sayings on the top of them. And then the back side of them are a little bit more highly patterned there. So there's also this really fun kind of shrunken down pattern which matches. Or you've also got these little fruits. So we've used those on the card here. Now I wanted to point out this piece here because this is such a fun color theory. It's like watercoloring blocks that the Stampin' Up! Artists have done for us, which you could use just like that. Or imagine that you're actually going to stamp with maybe this short glass over the top here. You can leave a little bit of white on the top, and then you can stamp that, and it would show the inside of the glass as being this really fun kind of multicolored drink. Then there's no hand cutting involved when you're using these stamps if you get the die pack, because you can cut it out with the coordinating die, and so that's going to fit perfectly around the short glass or the tall glass. You can even have this texture impressed onto the glass and do that on vellum or even maybe like a window sheet or something like that to make it really look like glass. You can also use this piece on its own. It doesn't have to be the texture on a glass. It can be whatever you want it to be. So just this die alone would put the pressure on the paper and impress this pattern onto your card, your project, your sheet of paper without cutting out anything. It's just going to be the impression there. Come on, camera. Anyways, we've got all kinds of dies that are going to work with this stamp set. So including the little umbrella, all the little garnishes and things like that. You can even put ice cubes into the drink. You can put ice cubes on the side because we've got the die to go along with them too. So this is a really fun and versatile, really different bundle, I think, than what we've seen in the past. And when you've been a demonstrator for 18 years, you like different things, right? That's what catches your eye. I still love flowers. I can't deny it, but anything that's different really catches my eye. So also included on this card are the other online exclusive. These are the Strawberry Slush and Pretty in Pink Gems. They also have a third color there, which you can kind of see peeking out from underneath this little tab. And that's clear with like the gold embossing in there. So it almost has like flecks of gold, as if it were bits of that, what was it called? Gold leafing. That's what it was. But yeah, I love this project. I hope it inspires you to give it to somebody who, you know, deserves a little summertime patio cheer, maybe for their birthday or something. Or maybe you want to template it for the future too. It's a great way to do it when you know the design can be templated many times over and over, because you know I prep many of these projects each month. And frankly, I have one of these kits that I made a mistake on. I was saying last night, don't make too many mistakes, but when I do, oh boy, I sure feel terrible. I apologize, but likely you might be missing one of these sheets of paper from your pack. And I did have them left over. I should have known, but I thought I made a cutting count error, not like a sorting error. But this size of paper is the exact same size of the designer series paper panel for the front of the card. So if you're missing one of these, I sure hope you have this in your stash. This is the basic beige cardstock. It kind of looks like vanilla, but you can see it's just a little bit more gray and beige from the vanilla. So if you don't have basic beige, vanilla would work in a pinch, and I'm so sorry if it's not included in your kit. The size, to be exact, is 1 7/8 wide, and it's 5 1/4 inches long. If you have this piece in your kit, you can just cut it to be the same size as that, because it's going to go onto a panel of your card that is just the same size as that one. Okay, so what does the card actually look like? Well, this is a fun fold, and I wanted to showcase this gorgeous designer series paper that's so different and unique and has so many different patterns to it. But this one is a fun fold that I've done in the past, but it's really great for showcasing so much of the designer series paper. All you actually have to cut off of the paper is about, what is it, 3/4 of an inch that you cut off of the top, and then just 1/8 of an inch to cut off the side of the 6 inch by 6 inch paper. So it comes something like this. And this is how it ends up on the card. So you might have the green color combination. This is our Mossy Meadow cardstock base. And this new one here, or this blue one I should say, tricked both Kathy and I when we were prepping it. We were calling it the Night of Navy. But when we take a look at this compared to the Night of Navy, you can truly see the difference. This is crazy different, isn't it? This is now our darkest, deepest blue. So Night of Navy used to be our darkest, deepest blue before. Now we have a brand new in color, and this one's called Secret Sea. And you can see how deep it is, how cool it is. It's got a very gray base, and so when you look at the Night of Navy in comparison, it almost looks like Blueberry Bushel. Whereas if we were doing that in the past, I mean, we didn't know any different, did we? We were just using it as navy, but now this is like a really true dark navy color. So I think this is going to be one of your favorites to play with because it almost works like a neutral, in my opinion. Okay, we're going to fold this into a Z fold. So what that means is the front of this, I'm Canadian, right? So we got to say Z. The front of this is going to zigzag back and forth until the back here then flattens out. This is a great way of showcasing big pieces of designer series paper. And if you have a repeating pattern, you might not notice it as much. If you've got a landscape kind of a pattern, then you'll really want to match up this piece so that it works on the front and the back. So for example, like a repeating pattern or a different pattern would be something like this. You still probably want to match it up a little bit, but it's not as noticeable if it doesn't match up perfectly. So I'm going to put that onto the back. This piece is just so stunning. I'll show you this designer series paper pack in a minute. I've never seen anything quite like it. It's so varied, but it still has the same kind of tonal quality to the colors. And so it almost evokes the same sort of feel, even though many of the sheets are so different than the other ones. This piece here, you know what, I'm going to stamp on it before I assemble it because it was a little bit trickier to stamp once I had all the layers done up. So this one here, I'm going to be using a new stamp set, which is one of my favorite saying ones now. It's called The Right Words, and it's got these sayings that work really, really well together. So for example, this card I used, I wish I had the right words for a time like this. And then on the inside, but just know how much I love and care about you. And you've even got forever loved, forever remembered. For the inside, you have hoping the loss you feel right now will be eased by wonderful memories. How about miss you? I miss you already. I really don't like that you're leaving, but I hope you love where you're going. And happy birthday, then for the inside, to someone worth celebrating every single day. And how about, what's this one here? You're so kind. Thanks so much for thinking of me. Or sending good vibes. I know a good thing when I see it, and I see lots of good things in you. Or thinking of you, and then ... a lot. These are sayings that I think cover the gamut, really, for all of the different sayings that you would want to gift to people in your life. You know what? I didn't clean these from last night, so I'm just going to clean my Mossy Meadow off of there. And I'm going to be stamping with the Matchy Matchy Secret Sea ink. So again, if you are working with the green, then you'll probably want to choose the Mossy Meadow if you have it. And if you don't, a gray or a black even would work. Secret Sea is the one that I'm going to be doing. This is that nice deep dark blue. Oh, you know what? I'm going to have to do a different saying because look at this. I've got a smaller tag here for the front. Let's see if I can fit anything on there. This proves a little bit trickier. You might find this for you as well. But I'm actually going to see if I can find something from this More Messages. This is a really unique stamp. They've done this in the past and I'm so glad that it's back. The reason why it's unique is that all of these sayings come on one stamp. So you just get it onto one big block and you can stamp all of these at the same time. Then sold as a bundle is the matching die, which will then cut out every single one of these perfectly centered. So you've got all your sayings on one stamp, all of your tags on one die, and you can just create one of these in every color scheme and have a ton of tags ready to go. So you can see the one that actually goes along with this is a Hooray. That one is a little bit less versatile, I would say. I know I've got one that I used here. This beautiful butterflies, actually. I think this For You will be perfect. let's see. And then I can actually put both of these sayings on the inside. So for you on the outside, and then I'm going to put, sorry, you just heard me reading in my head. And then I'm going to put, I wish I had the right words for a time like this, but just know how much I love and care about you, all on the inside. So I can still use that stamp set and more. So for you always comes in handy. That's like the most versatile saying, isn't it? For you, and then you say on the inside, on your birthday. For you, during this time of loss. For you, get well. You're in my thoughts, right? For you, what else could you use it for? Anything, right? Thankful for you. Whoa, sorry, banging something around here. Okay, so for you is going to go nice onto this little tag here. This is when you hold your breath, say a prayer, and then you sometimes have to implement the backside of the paper. All right, let's see. I gotta hover a little bit closer. Might see my head, sorry. Here we go. Sometimes you guys find that it's harder with a smaller block. Sometimes I'll put a big stamp like this even onto a bigger block, so then I don't have the edges of the block warping the edges of the tag that I'm trying to stamp onto. You just, when you have a larger block, have to make sure that you're not rocking the stamp back and forth and catching an edge, inking that up, and getting a little bit of a stamp where you don't want it to be, right? Here we go. Now we're cooking with gas. We've got our second set of stamps here. I'm going to stamp, I wish I had the right words for a time like this, and then, but just know how much I love and care about you. So the first one here. Whew. I'm really tempting fate by doing 3 stamps here with my camera in the way. Okay, so far I've nailed 2 out of 3, right? Had to implement the back side of the paper, but sometimes that's how it goes. Oh, it looks so good. You'd never know that it was 2 different stamps. Love that. Yay. Yes, yes, yes. I'm so excited. So I'm going to let that dry just to the side here for a minute while I work on my other element of the card here. So you could just wrap your ribbon around this gorgeous textured piece of cardstock that perfectly matches with your base color. This is actually done with a damask design. It's a new embossing folder, and I love how scaled down it is. So with the design, it's much smaller than what we've had in the past. So even a size of paper like this, you wouldn't just get the one pattern. You can actually see it as a repeating pattern. So I think that this damask pattern is going to be one that you're going to love in your collection. It's elegant, it's regal, and it just adds that beautiful touch on there. When we're wrapping our ribbon around, we could also tie a little knot in it and add a little bit of extra intrigue. So I'm going to show you how to do that. The most important part is that it wraps around, well, okay, I should say the most important part to me when I'm working with ribbon is that I cover the ends. I just don't like to see the little frayed ends or try to cut it perfectly unless I've got like a tag thing happening. But I would never, for me, want to see the end of that ribbon that's wrapping around a card. So I'm just making sure that it's wrapping in behind here. So how do I do that? Let's just do a little tie here. This is a really easy ribbon technique. And you'll just want to make sure that you can wrap around a significant portion so that it's not visible on the inside of the card. I'm going to use my tear and tape again. Which side am I doing up? There we go. So there's a whole bunch of different ways to make cards. I'm showing you, 18 years of experience of the things that I have noticed that really elevate card making. So if you, don't hide the ends of your ribbon, is that the end of the world to the people receiving your card? No, it's not. I mean, who really notices stuff like that? But if you wanted to take your card making up a level and really elevate it. Oh, you know what? I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done this right here. I'm going to just peel that off because I want that adhesive to be hidden. I was talking so much about elevating your cards, blah, 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 that I exposed my adhesive. So scandalous. Like card making 101 is like, don't stick your card together in a way that like you can't open it, which is how I was doing it there. Anyways, you guys know what I'm doing here, which is trying to talk you through how to elevate it and making a rookie mistake. Okay, so the reason why I'm putting the adhesive there is because this tag is going to be half onto this front panel and half off. So we're going to be seeing this in behind here. So to finish this off, I'm going to add on bigger strips actually of the tear and tape going right over top of the ribbon that I've already applied with the tear and tape. And that's totally okay with me because this is going to just make sure that that ribbon stays put exactly where I want it to be. If you ever put adhesive where you don't want it to be, which happens to all of us, as you can clearly see, just breathe on your paper, and so we like huff on it, yeah, and then it will soften the adhesive and take it off. You can also use your heat tool if you have one to gently heat it up, and that means that you can usually pull it up without causing damage to the cardstock. I just rolled mine off because I hadn't pressed it down very hard. I could just roll that one off and it was no problem at all. Now, since this is dry, I can put this on the inside. I'm just putting that flat onto my card with some Stamp and Seal. And that's going to follow the exact same layout with the same borders around each one of these things. That beautiful basic beige is visible here on the paper and in lots of the designer series paper actually, as well as the ribbon. So of course, one of the things we love about Stampin' Up! Is the matchy coordination. And I'm just going to put my little For You on there. I'm going to put this just over to the side here. So dimensionals on the back side where I messed up my stamping. Nobody will ever know except for everyone who watches this video. Never mind anyways, we all make mistakes, right? So my For You. And then to finish this off, I've got these gorgeous embellishments. These are metal and they're quite heavy and quite thick. Be prepared when you get these shipped to you. Unfortunately, they probably are going to be moving around on that backing paper, which is meant for them to be easily taken off of and put onto your project. But it means that with the weight of these, you might end up having a pack that looks like this. They're called the pressed flower motifs, and they've got this beautiful, elegant flower kind of pressed into them. But for me, they don't read as much as a flower, as more of like an antique, almost like gender neutral kind of a embellishment, just based on the color, I think, alone. So now we've got this beautiful card, and you can write your little message in there. When your recipient receives it, they're going to see this burst of designer series paper, and as they open up the card, it's really going to expand the beauty of it using so much of that 6" by 6" designer series paper. Okay, let's talk about where these products come from. Here we're using a little bit more from the annual catalog, so I'll cover those items first. On page 109, I used the new Damask Designs square. It's a 6" by 6" embossing folder. This is a great embossing folder because you can choose to put your card in horizontally or your piece in vertically and have that pattern go whichever way that you'd like. If you're doing smaller pieces like this, you can even do multiples at a time. So this is a really handy size, and it works with our Big Boss embossing folder. I call it the Big Boss. It's the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We call it the Big Boss though. The next item that I want to show you is on page 119, and it's so different. This is that designer series paper that's completely unique. We've had items that are similar to this in that they've been florals or landscapes or, watercolor paintings in the past. We actually have a few of them currently. So Thoughtful Journey is one of them, and also on the next side here, Splendid Autumn is another kind. But this beautiful gallery is really diverse in that you can't quite pin down exactly where they're going with this other than a feel. Like it's quite elegant and a little bit more historical looking maybe than some of the other designer series papers that we've had in the past. So when we start off, we've got some kind of still life painting art. Then we've got landscapes. Then we've got one that looks almost like a really fancy vintage wallpaper. This one looks like a botanical study sketch. This one looks like, I was saying last night, I think it looks like the beginning of the Disney movie, like what is it, Lady and the Tramp, where you zoom in, or even just like a sketch of wintertime, right? Something like that. Then we've got the one that I used on my card there, beautiful landscape, a little bit more of an abstract landscape. We've got the trees, the flowers that I used on another one of my cards. This is a gorgeous harbor scene with like just the most beautiful sky painted on there. And more flowers. And this one here is this beautiful cottage in the woods. So on the back side is just as varied, or maybe even more. So we've got kind of like a canvas that's got a distressed layer on it of paint. Then we've got an aerial sketch of some civil planning, right? Like a map. This one is brush strokes for beautiful kind of brown colors. This one here is like a really subtle tone on tone kind of almost damask pattern as well. Then we've got some more brush strokes, tone on tone. One in like a Lost Lagoon kind of a color here with a repeating pattern over the top. Again, these are all 6 inch by 6 inches. This one here has got sketches of trees. Kind of a look of, again, some more wallpaper. I don't know why I've got wallpaper in my head so much right now. This looks like thick, like acrylic paint or something, like a base that you would put on a canvas. This is like a stipple of the same sort of thing. Sketches of beautiful flowers, and another one that's kind of looking like a bit of a wallpaper, right? So this one's a little bit hard to nail down. Oh, Priscilla, take care. Good night. We'll see you on the replay. As with all of you, the replay is available, so make sure you use that in the future and take a look. I think Facebook isn't saving them for very long anymore, but you can always find me on YouTube. I'm always available for you. And so even if you're watching this in the future, reach out, because I might have still some of these projects left over and I can send them to you. You can craft along with me. The pressed flowers are on page 124 here. They come with 114 adhesive back pieces in 2 different sizes, the antique gold color. And then on page 127, this basic beige classic ribbon, which is totally neutral and wonderful. We love that, especially when it's a lighter color, because we can use our Stampin' Blends markers and really customize that and make it whatever we want. Some other items that you may want to use along with this. This Elements of Text is a really interesting stamp set that's totally unique. It's still available, I believe, on the online exclusives, and it's got elements that you can add over the top. So if you wanted to add another textural element, it would look really good, I think, over top of these flowers, even to add that extra element onto it. We also have the textured note dies. That's where this little rectangle comes from. And if you were around last month, so in April of 2025, you watched that video, it's like I was a broken record talking about these amazing dies. And here I am again. I can't get enough of them. The reason why I love them so much is that they come in very large sizes down to very small, and each one of them has a textural element to it. So the one that we used for this card here is a little bit of like a dash and dot kind of design, and none of these will cut out and give you confetti all over your workstation. So these are going to cut out a rectangle that then has all of these impressed images into them. So I know you're going to love these for years to come, because it's just the perfect balance of having some visual interest on your rectangle without it being too much or messy. So definitely get those. They're called the Textured Notes dies. Now, another new product that I like, of course, for making things go really, really quickly are these more messages. This is the stamp that comes as one massive stamp, and then the die that corresponds with it. So you can stamp it once. How about this? Stamping once with Versamark ink onto black paper, embossing with white over top, and when you cut this out, you got, I think it's 20, so what is it, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 19 tags that are all that chalkboard look, as opposed to heat embossing every individual one and having that white on black. You can do it all at once and get it ready to go. Maybe you just have these tags in your collection. My friend and lovely assistant Kathy likes to store some of her embellishments into hockey card sleeves. So she has a binder, and she can sort things like this in and have them all ready to go by color, so that, you know, whatever project that she's working on, she can just reach in and grab the perfect tag for it. Love that idea. Brilliant. All right, so there we go. There's our final card, or sorry, our middle card there. Now we're going to work on our final card. Now for this card here, we're featuring more in colors. That beautiful, grab this out here again here. Secret Sea is used again, and then now we're using it along with the cloud cover. This is a perfectly monochromatic color scheme, but it can be customized and added to with whatever colors that you want, or you can just keep it neutral like what I'm going to do. I'm trying to showcase a little bit of a different style for me. It's a little bit more restrained. It's a little bit more monochromatic and the white on white look, but I tell you what, it's really fun to play around with, and we're going to still have some coloring to play with on this card. Don't worry, your cardstock base is included in this, so it's not separate than the envelope. It was included in the envelope because it's just this 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch rectangle. Then we're going to have this special arm fold over the top to create a beautiful easel card. What that looks like when it's all said and done is something like this, which opens up, hinges open. Can you see that? It hinges open. And then when it's on your desk, it will just be held open with this little raised piece of waves that are die cut and put onto the card. So the coloring that we're going to do is transforming this very plain piece of watercolor paper into this gorgeous watercolor look here. So should we do that first, do you think, and set that drying? We'll do maybe the hardest part first. I know I'm giving you a couple curveballs on this card, and I'm very excited about it. All right, so maybe you have the new Secret Sea ink pad. Maybe even better, you've got the re-inker bottle, which you would use to keep this ink pad juicy for years to come. If you don't have those colors, that's okay. You can use whatever color of blue that you want. I think it's going to go perfectly with the very neutral colors that we've got on this card already. So you're going to see me using Secret Sea, but you can use whatever color that you want, okay? When you don't have your re-inker yet, mine just arrived today actually, you can actually use a glass block as a palette. So similar to what Priscilla was saying in the comments earlier, you can actually use a glass block as a palette. So what I do is I used this yesterday. I'm not going to re-ink it, but I'll add a little bit over top. So you can just stamp right onto the glass block and then pick up from there any of the ink that you want to use. So just for cleanup purposes, I'm going to use the inside of one of my stamp cases just so that I can scoot it to the side and keep working, because this involves a little bit of water. I like using my big water painter. This comes in a 3-pack, and I'm going to be using the really big brush tip for this one. So to start off and get the water flowing, I've got just water in the reservoir. I'm going to push on here and drip some water. Oops, I should have refilled this a little bit more. It's not wanting to come out as easily as if it were full. Okay, so I'm just pooling some water here because I'm going to use that as my palette. And that in essence is also clearing out so that I don't have as much pigment in the brush bristles as I was using yesterday. So I'm not changing colors from yesterday. Whenever you change colors, just put this under the tap. You can just run water even through it. So as you screw this off, you can actually run water right through it, and that will take it from this reservoir. Sometimes the reservoir actually collects a little bit of ink, so you just want to make sure you're cleaning it out so that you get a nice pure color the next time. But again, I don't have to do that because I'm not switching colors. So I'm okay if there's a little bit of a blue wash on here. But you're going to see how much water I'm actually going to put onto the paper here, because you can see that little bit of color, right? So once I have the water on the paper, I'm going to let it sit for a minute, because this paper is incredible. It's made of 100% cotton, and it just almost works like a textile. It's going to really collect the water on the paper and then do some pretty amazing patterns with it too. So now that I've got the watercolor working on there, I can pick up a little bit of color over the top, and I can just start adding it, and I can play with this. When I've got water pooling on here, I can add more. I can pick up the intensity and add some deeper colors. But for this card here, I only used the one color of ink, and then I blended it out so it was a little bit lighter in sections. So starting off with it a little bit darker, I can work from there. There we go. So the variance in color is really interesting to me, and that's part of the reason why I love watercoloring, is that each time you do it, it's going to be different. And even as it dries, it sometimes changes a lot. You can't do this with regular paper, unfortunately. Regular paper that's made of wood is just going to pill and start to break down. So you're definitely going to want to use watercolor paper for this technique. So on this project, you can actually see the difference between the watercolor paper and our regular basic white paper. That's what's used on the embossed piece. I'm going to speed this up a little bit. Typically, I don't use the number 2 setting when I'm heat setting some liquids, but with this one, I'm doing a live video here, so I want to make sure to keep things moving a little bit. But I don't use the number 2 setting because I don't like the ink moving around as much as what I've kind of got going on here. I'm actually going to take a little bit more from here. Pick up a little bit more. Watercolor paper is so great because you can even go back and add in a little bit more color even as you go. You can keep wetting the paper and changing the look of the watercolor as many times as you want. The paper will stand up to it. It's so incredible that way. I just want a little bit of a deeper color in some of the corners here. Let's see if I can achieve that intensity here. I like that this application of color, like this very, very deep blue-gray color, ends up turning into about 3 different colors, depending on the level of saturation that you have. I'm going to just turn it down just a little bit because it's still blowing around the liquid that's on the paper, and I want the liquid kind of to stay put where it is. If you want, you can also sometimes go from the back side, and that will help to keep the color where it is on the paper without blowing it around. And as with every technique that involves coloring, you might end up with some ink on your fingers, but these water-based inks, they clean up really nicely. Ooh, that looks really cool. I love the look of this. I've got this deep, dark, intense color around the edges, and then it just softens almost to white in the middle. Oh, and I've got a little bit more ink on the back side there, so it's always handy whenever you're crafting to have some different tools at your disposal. I always keep Kleenexes and wet wipes, along with my simple chamois right near my project because I know I'm going to need them. So I just had a little bit of ink on the back there. So when I put it onto the glass mat, it left a little bit of a mark. So now I'm going to put that to the side and clean myself up a little bit here because I'm all inky. And you better believe that I, for some reason, don't have my amazing wet wipes other than maybe one. So I just have one wet wipe. One wet wipe that's not even really wet. All right, let's see what we can do here. I'm going to use my Stampin' Mist. I'll re-wet that wet wipe and clean up some of the ink that's all over my fingers. Because that's the thing about a white-on-white project. It's not as forgiving, is it? Oh yes, Betty, I agree. So Betty says she finds the block very helpful for blender pens too. Less heavy amounts of ink to work with. Agreed. Rather than having like that big splotch of that concentrated re-inker that you can pour straight from the bottle, it's really nice to have just that little bit distributed onto your block, and you can use that as a palette. Also really awesome to use as a palette actually is the Stampin' Up! Silicone mat or even the glass mat. The two of them come together, and that might be one of the items that you save up for with your new Stampin' Rewards. You might want to treat yourself to that. I'm just off camera here cleaning out my brush bristles a little bit onto my what's it called? Baby wipe. All right, let's see here. We'll see if I actually got all the ink off of myself or if I'm going to have a little splotch somewhere else. Since we're working with the ink, let's do our little bit of stamping here too. So, I don't know. I'm thinking about this so much right now because I have a lot of people in my life who are retiring. So, this card here really spoke retirement to me, as well as the stamp set that goes along with it. So this is Sunrise Sailing. They've got really great sayings in this one. So congratulations, you deserve the best. Happy retirement, best wishes, you're destined for great things. And the ultra versatile ahoy, which some of the ladies looked up last night and they said is a greeting from afar. Love that. So I'm actually going to use that ahoy on the outside, which is just going to be stamped onto a cloud. And then on the inside, I've got congratulations. This, I think, is a really cute card. So you can do congratulations. I somehow, in the process of stamping these yesterday, lost the happy retirement. So I made one card with it, and then I don't know where it went. Like, is it in the back of this drawer? Like, how could that have gone away? I don't know. It seriously, like, just disappeared. I don't even know where it went. So we'll use the same combination here of Congratulations and Ahoy. And again, I'm using that same color of ink, that Secret Sea. I love Ahoy. The more and more I started thinking about it last night, the more I'm obsessed with it. Like, I want to use Ahoy on everything now. Just Ahoy! Happy birthday. Ahoy! Congratulations. I want it on that side, actually. So just centering it on there, and then I'll show you what we're going to do with that in a little bit here. And Ahoy, I have stubbed my foot, and it's now scratched. Ahoy! We have an injury. Stamping injury on a toe. How it happens, nobody knows. Okay, so Secret Sea is the matchy color. You could also use the cloud cover, but what I thought was really interesting about this is that the Secret Sea, so just using the Secret Sea as a watercolor, actually brought out tones of almost the exact tone of cloud cover. So those two are just made, I think, to work together because they're just the same kind of tonal quality. As we start to look at putting this card together, I'm going to show you this arm first. When we are scoring, it doesn't work out with perfect dimensions every time, so you'll have to forgive me. We are going to do a little bit of trimming on this, and that's just how it is. For this arm that goes around, I'm going to use some tear and tape because it is getting a little bit more motion than a regular card piece. And so I want that extra sticking power. So I'm just going to put a strip of that onto the piece that's going to wrap around the backside of our card base. So as I'm wrapping this around, I'm not adhering it quite yet, but I'm sliding it down so that it aligns perfectly with the right hand side of your horizontal card base. So as I wrap it around and press it on, that's going to set this top dimension, but you can see it ends up being a little bit less than 1/8 of an inch. It's probably about a 1/16 of an inch, but when you're scoring, it doesn't work so perfectly like that. So what we're going to do is just flip it over and use our handy dandy scissors or paper trimmer to trim that up so it perfectly matches with the card front. It will mean that this piece and this piece are not the exact same length. That's okay, because that will just angle up perfectly with our sailboat adhered to it and popping up into that gorgeous little easel card. Okay. All right. So the next thing that we're going to do, I'm going to tell you what you can do, and if you want to, you go right ahead, okay? But I'm going to keep with my restrained approach on this card, and I'm going to stick with the white on white. Could you add all sorts of color to this card? You go to town if that's what you want to do. Absolutely. You could use blending brushes. You could use like a light blue for the sky. You could use a darker blue for the waves. You could use Stampin' Up! Markers like the Stampin' Right markers or the Stampin' Blends. And you could color your sail and your boat, any color that you wanted. And you could put this together in a way that was really vibrant because you're working with very neutral kind of blue colors as your base. But for me, I'm going to stick with my very restrained white on white and neutral gray blue colors as the background. So putting on my Stampin' Seal onto this background piece, and that's going to go onto here. Very small borders for those pieces, so just make sure you're aligning it, and if it doesn't go perfectly, then remember that you can soften the adhesive just by warming it up, either with your breath or with your heat tool. I'm going to use half of a large dimensional here and put that on the boat part. What do you think? Are you guys coloring things to your heart's content? Are you going to go tone on tone white and blue monochromatic kind of colors for this card? I'm just nesting this right over, so when you turn it to the sides, you get this little pop of color from the background. You might have it as a border of this lighter cloud cover color, or you might have the reverse where the card base is the cloud cover and this secret sea is the border color. So whichever one it works. Now, we know that we don't want to glue this completely on because we want it to easel up, right? So we're only going to put adhesive onto the bottom part here. Whenever I'm doing something like that, I like to make sure I kind of foolproof it. Using more tear and tape. Will you believe it? I'm using so much tear and tape today. So this one, and then I'm just going to put it down a little bit from this half here. But I always like to make it as foolproof as possible when I'm doing sneaky little adhesives like these fun fold cards. Alright, and then we put that on. We're just going to match the dimensions around there, not worrying as much about the top, but knowing that it's all going to work out because the dimensions are set up for a standard card size. So now you've got that kind of easeling up, this arm that folds down and then can easel up. And what is it going to easel up onto? Well, this congratulations, which is going to go on as a dimensionalized layer on top of your other rectangle piece of the basic white. Now, you guys know a little pet peeve of mine is not having things long enough. So I did cut this a little bit longer than it needs to be so that you can perfectly match it on your card. So what you can do is match it up on one side if you don't have your saying perfectly centered, and you can snip it on both sides, or whatever you need to do to make sure that this matches perfectly with the other one. And you do want it dimensionalized so that it catches this front part of the card on there. Okay, so that I'm going to wait to adhere because I want to show you one more thing that I want to do with this piece, and that's a special technique for wrapping around the twine. You guys are all going to become sailors, and if you don't want to, that's okay too. Very quickly and easily you can wrap this twine around 2 times. Oh my goodness. Wrap this around 2 times just like that and have a beautiful card. But how we take it up a notch is by actually making a sailor knot. So this is a special type of knot. It's actually called a carrick bend, which is also called a pretzel knot. And maybe this one here is laying even flatter, so you can see this one a little bit better. Oh, it's not showing properly on the camera. I can just see that you're not seeing all these different layers. But in person, you can really see that it's a very interesting knot. All right, this knot we have done before. And so you don't need to fret, you don't need to worry, it's very manageable. When I did my video from before, I went back and looked at it actually, and most of the people actually got it first try. I'm just putting a little bit of liquid on my hands here. I'm using whatever liquid I have handy. This is my Stampin' spray, just to get the kinks out of the ribbon a little bit. So this is our baker's twine, or sorry, our linen thread, I should say. And when it comes, you can get it in a few different ways. It mostly comes on the spool, but sometimes I get it on little pieces of cardboard, and when I do that, then it like from kits and whatever, then it sometimes has little kinks in it. To do this wrapping technique with the carrick bend, this pretzel knot, you'll have to snip your long piece into 2 pieces, okay? The first piece is going to stay vertical, and that is going to be, we're going to stick with this wonderful sailing, fishing, nautical theme, and we're going to go with a fishing line. It's going down into the water, and then in the water we have our fish. And the fish is made up of the head and the tail, and it's going to go over top here of this fishing line. Okay, so you got our fish and our fishing line. The top part of the tail is going to lay over the bottom part of the tail. So if you look at the layers, that's the order in which this is going to be laying over the top of this tail. Okay, so now when we take our pieces and we're actually making our carrot bend knot, we're going to take our fish line and we're going to put it over the top of the fish's tail, under the bottom of the fish's tail. And I'm trying to keep my fingers out of the way so that you can actually see what I'm doing here. And then you're going to go over top of the fish's belly, underneath the fishing line that happens to run through the middle of the fish, and over top of the other fish, part of the fish. And then once we do that, I know it sounded difficult. You can watch this on the replay, but you're just going to keep hold of all 4 pieces, and you're going to tighten this carrot bend knot, not super tight, but just enough so that it showcases itself as the beautiful knot that it is without it being too tight. So you want to leave it a little bit loose so that you can see all the fun pieces. And I think that whoever gets this card is going to be intrigued by the way that this comes together, because it really is fun and different. Okay, if you didn't want to do that, that's okay. You do you, but I like trying new and different things, and this carrot bend went over really, really well last time, and I knew you guys could handle it this time. On the back side of this card, or this piece of cardstock, which is actually made of the cotton instead of regular traditional paper materials, because it's our watercolor paper, I'm just going to put on these 2 little strips of tear and tape. And for that, I'm going to wrap this around. You can kind of figure out if you want your knot centered or if you want it up a little bit. I'm going to go up a little bit, I think. So it's not centered. Oh no, I was going to go down. That's what I was going to do, because I have my ahoy cloud up at the top. Because ahoy! My goodness, why is this the hardest part of the whole thing? There we go. Stay there. Stay. And we wrap it around just like that. And put it onto the bottom. Why is this coming off? It's like my cardstock is a little bit wet still, but it isn't. Maybe there's just enough residual moisture that doesn't want to stick nicely for me right now. Here we go. So just because I want extra sticking power, I'm going to go over top of those now. Again with my tear and tape. That's going to make sure that those stay put exactly where I want them. And then for extra measure, I can use my Stampin' Seal, and we'll put that onto the cardstock mat. In this case, it's that beautiful cloud cover. So we've actually used all of the new in colors on your projects tonight. Which one is appealing to you? Did you like that really vibrant kind of color combination? Oh, look at this, and now I'm out of my Stampin' Seal. When this happens, I like to show this actually whenever it happens on camera, because you've got to clean out these little gummy bits that collect sometimes in the top. If you don't do that, then you'll find that your Stampin' Seal, the next new spool that you put on, is actually going to wrap on itself. So when I put this new one in, I've got this case cleaned up just like new. I can take out my Stampin' Seal from its resealable container. And just a reminder, it's resealable container because this one case will actually fit our Stampin' Seal and our Stampin' Seal Plus. So you can buy one case and then get refills in either of the styles and use them for different methods. So some people like the Stampin' Seal better, some people like the Steel Plus better. I really like the Stampin' Seal. I don't find I use the Seal Plus as much, but some people do, and they like to switch between the two of those in the same exterior case. So that's a really great hint that you can definitely do that instead of buying 2 full cases. I definitely have 2 full cases because I like to switch between the 2 of them a little bit more quickly and easily. But if you're wanting to, you know, reduce your investment, your initial investment, that's a great way of doing it. So I've got my congratulations happening in there. Then I fold this close. I can put my Ahoy on there with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Not too far over because I don't want to glue this panel shut again, right? When you're dealing with the fun folds, that's sometimes the hardest part, is remembering not to glue your card completely closed. But there you go, you've got your Ahoy, you've got your congratulations. Now the finishing touch is to add on these embellishments. These are also in our new in colors. So these are in the, what are they called again? I've said it so many times. Cloud Cover and Secret Sea to match along with your card. And I just put 1, 2, and then the third one up at the top. We've got our carrot bend knot, our pretzel knot. We've got our fun fold with the easel. I managed to not get any ink anywhere, and we watercolored this beautiful panel to make it totally customized for every single card. Oh, I hope you like this card because I'm just in love with it. Let's talk about where these products come from. Okay, in the annual catalog, we have a few different products. So the Fluid 100 watercolor paper is definitely one of them. And you can tell, I just love that so much. You can do so many different techniques with it. Also from page 125, our embellishment page, we've got these 2025 to 2027 flat pearls. They're so shiny and vibrant. They come in the 5 in colors. You can tell which ones I used the most for this card. I still have some of these other ones left over. But they're in the new in colors. We also have them in the old colors. So both of these are new embellishments. But of course the in colors that include Peach Pie, Pretty Pink, Shy Shamrock, Petunia Pop, and Summer Splash have been around for a year already, but these embellishments are new to go along with them. Also from our annual catalog, we've got the linen thread, and that's what we use to make our beautiful carrot bend or the pretzel knot. Page 129, I talked briefly about using some blending brushes or something to add a little bit of color. Even you could use your Stampin' Blends. And page 137, we've got our new in colors, which of course you're going to want to get as a pack of paper. Now I want to mention as well that we're having quality issues with the Cloud Cover ink pad. So Stampin' Up! For demonstrators usually gives us a month pre-order in advance of the new catalog starting, but for this one they held off on releasing the Cloud Cover ink because they couldn't get the quality to their very, very high standards. This has happened in the past, and it's all based on the formulation of the color and how it reacts with the chemicals of the actual ink pad itself. So the material of the ink pad foam interacts with the color of the ink and the chemicals in the ink, and sometimes it means that there's not as much consistency, or you get an uneven application and it's hard to apply it nice and evenly. So that's kind of the problem that they're having right now with the Cloud Cover. So what they've released is that this ink pad is not going to be available as like an ongoing item. They did have the initial order that was placed and fulfilled by the manufacturer, and they do have that available for purchase right now. It's a last chance item. So it means that this product is not going to be replenished. If you want to take a chance on this ink pad, you definitely can. They're going to have the re-inker available, which seems to work really well with the tiny little ink spots, but the larger ink pads we're struggling with the quality for that one. So buyer beware. If you do purchase it, you might have a product that is not up to the highest standards. Like normal standards for Stampin' Up! Are really, really high. So I did want to mention that. But if you wanted to have that in your collection, you can definitely get that from the last chance list right now. I don't believe there is a discount on it. I can't remember. Anything else that I need to add from that page? No, I don't think so. Also, from our online exclusives, I ordered a lot from the online exclusives. So our catalog is a little bit different now. We've got kind of an expanded instructional part of the catalog, and some of the products that are a little bit more in depth are shown a little bit more online. So if you're an experienced stamper, you'll want to make sure that you're checking the online exclusives, because that's where you're going to see all kinds of really interesting, in-depth kind of products that maybe a first-time stamper wouldn't really understand how to use, but an experienced stamper would be able to look at it, understand it immediately, and be inspired by it. So they're changing up the way that they do the catalogs and showcasing a little bit more techniques and simplified stamping in the catalogs, and more of the advanced products are going to be available as online exclusives. So make sure that you are looking at those sections, because it's honestly incredible what they have on there. You can tell I'm showcasing so much online exclusive here tonight. So the last bundle of online exclusives that we have is another hybrid embossing folder. And this one is with the sailboat. So that one cut out the sailboat as well as embossing it. And you could do so many different things with it. Again, I've just glued mine in for mass production, because we produce so many of these kits each month. And we wanted to make it easy for us to cut out and emboss everything very, very quickly. So I just have little glue dots holding that in. But you can use that die just with the stamps. You can use just the embossing folder by itself. There's a whole bunch of other dies. So look at this. Just incredible. You've got 2 rows of waves, basically, cresting, that you can put on there. Bunch of clouds, seagulls, different sailboats with different masts and sails and sizes, and lots to play with there. And again, that sunrise sailing stamp set has a beautiful font, the great sayings that are really versatile, and you can use all these products together as well. So a really great bundle for you to get from the online exclusives. All right, now is the most important part of the night. Make sure you comment which card, these are all fun folds, so they're exploding everywhere. Which is your favorite card that we made from tonight? So we've got different color combinations for each of them. Our first bonus card actually had 2 different designs, which, where's the second one? In the drawer? Oh, how did I clean up and not even notice? Oh, here it is. There we go. So we've got a whole bunch of different designs, a whole bunch of different colors, and I know that you could have even customized these yourself as well. So no matter whether you're watching live or on the replay, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, please will you comment and tell me which one you like the best. Did you like the butterflies? Did you like the cheers? Did you like the dark and moody designer series paper that is a fun fold? Or did you like Ahoy, the sailor easel card? I love knowing what appeals to you, and I always strive to show a huge range and diversity of projects, because we all have our own personal style, but we also give cards to people who have their own personal style. So you might be a flower lover to the nth degree, but you might want to have some different kinds of cards for the different people in your life, right? Maybe you've got a sailor in your life. Maybe you've got a person who deserves a frosty summer cheers. So I hope that you've been inspired by the cards that I've made, and I hope that you can join me for some in-person crafting as well. So like I said, we've got a whole bunch of dates for the Café Crafting. The first one that we've got coming up here is this Saturday from 10 until noon. You have to RSVP for these. If you don't, I won't have the projects ready for you. We're featuring 2 different kits on that one. If those kits don't appeal to you, you can choose different ones. But make sure if that Saturday doesn't work, so Saturday, May 24th, if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. Take a look at June. I've got a sign up link in the description of this email, And you can sign up for any of my classes in June. I've got a whole bunch of them on the calendar. And if you don't RSVP, they might not run. So please RSVP for any and all dates that might work for you, and then we can go from there. You can submit your registration a few times. It's not a one and done. So if you have one class that you want to come to and then you figure out you can have another one, or you have some friends coming with you, just make sure you're registering every time. Otherwise, I can't reserve the seats for you at the restaurant, and I can't have your projects ready for you if we run it too close to the event, okay, for your RSVP. So please let me know in advance. I love these classes, and I'd love to have you there crafting with me. So I thank you again from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this incredible stamping community that we've built all of these 18 years. We're now online, not just in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, but all across Canada and even all over the world. So thank you for being a part of it. And I really so appreciate you, and I love crafting with you. I hope to do it again very, very soon. Take care, my friends.